which obviously she was being fired, and then she was. So I'm tending to come around and believe it, maybe.
You think Nick
No.
is gone too? Because see, I just had our friend Carlos King on Reality with the King.
And
He says he doesn't think NECA is gone because
see,
what was the point? He thinks that, we barely got to know her. Everything was overshadowed by this flop of a Robin Dixon, Juan Dixon cheating scandal. And he thinks NECA returns. He thinks she gets one more season. And he also told me, which you can listen to the interview, it's up right now on the Sarah Fraser show. He also says he thinks RHOP, which I think you and I now have come to the agreement, gets one more season, one more shot. It is make or break in the P. If they can bring it this season with Giselle and Karen and Ms. Darby and Mia and NECA, and he says it's the Mia Thornton show, that it's all on Mia. If
he's
Mia
always said that he loves Mia, but don't forget we also have another cast member, the professor. We all seem to forget there's a professor. Um, I see what Carlos is saying. Yeah, I'm not. It's not confirmed yet that NECA is gone either, according to my. It's not a confirmed thing. Same thing with Dorit. I mean, what was the point? Well, what was the point of bringing on Diana Jenkins for a season? Yeah, you're all going to say she went crazy and had bots. What was the point of having Anne Marie on for a season? What, everyone's going to say there's these allegations against her husband and that's why she lost her job? I think you could easily lose your job within one season. I didn't think NECA was
I mean,
so bad, but I do think the P is at the end of its rope. I do. I told you, I heard from a very reliable source that season 4 of Salt Lake Housewives, they were told this is it. This is your last season. We're losing Jen Shaw. The ratings suck anyway. We don't know what to do. Figure it out. Have a great season, but this is your last season. And
bless you.
it's more like a
Bless
cough.
you. Oh,
And everyone needs to get Astapro for their allergies. Astapro and go. It's a but they pulled it together with volunteers. Now she's fired. I think Potomac is probably on its last leg, yeah. But so Dorit's not confirmed that it's the end, and so
I think I think Dorit lives one more
you
season.
do.
Yes, because I think, here at the reunions, for the very first time, although they claim now they weren't that close anyway, but, you do see this division between Kyle and Dorit, who were
Mhm.
besties and very united. And I think now we've had Dorit versus Sutton and Garcelle. Okay. They don't want that timeline. They don't want that rivalry anymore because they don't want
No.
racism brought in, period, end of story. The audience hates it. The audience doesn't. I don't care. I'll just say they just don't want it. Okay. You and I know this from actual producers that work there that say this. So
It's too much. They don't want real
it's too dark.
alcoholism. They
They
don't
don't
want
want
Kim
alcohol.
Richards checking into AA. They want none of this.
None of that. None of it. So I think Kyle and Kathy is definitely coming back to some capacity. If Kyle and
Yes.
Kath are united and they have enemies, whether it's Mo and Dorit, whether it's just Dorit, I think that I think people want that. They almost want these sisters to come together and have this season. So I think they need Dorit as the enemy. Dorit's bringing on this alleged friend that we talked about, who's really stunning. So
But
what?
I mean, and I know everyone's going to say that Kathy and Sutton have lunch and they're friends. They are friends. Kathy and Sutton are friends. They truly are. But see, I think that producers, oh God, Kathy has learned nothing. She's learned nothing, this Kathy Hilton.
What?
It's like they
About
did
my
you
cat?
so well. They did her so dirty the first time around. See, I think, and Kathy is definitely back. That's from a very reliable source, as you have a very reliable source. I think as a friend, I think they're bringing Kathy on to do her dirty again because I think maybe Sutton and Kyle will continue their divide. And guess what? Guess who Kathy's going to choose this time around? She ain't parted ways with us. We've never, and we're going to have two Hilton sisters. It's going to be a very awkward for Kathy. And she's going to have to speak up for her sister Kyle because we ain't repeating that from 2 years. Look, I really think every problem, well, not every problem. I think they had a very controlling mother, but I think a majority of problems between Kathy and Kyle were because of this diddler and daddler, Mo. We know Mo liked to diddle and daddle. Now, I don't think the problem was over Mo's diddling and daddling. I think it was that he, stole allegedly all the files in the middle of the night and said, peace out, Hilton and Highland, and I'm taking my people and starting the agency. So I think all of this, I think Kathy is like a pig in shit that, Kyle is divorcing the diddler and the daddler. And I think now Kathy is like, I love my sister because now maybe I can control her a little more because she's getting rid of, the problem in the family. And I don't think Kathy is, Kathy Hilton doesn't forgive in her Valentino. Sure, so I think she's like, well, justice for Rick Hilton, love of my life, because Mo is being kicked to the curb. And that's what you get for leaving Hilton and Highland to start the agency. And by the way, all of this is alleged. I mean, he did start the agency. There's some things that he alleged, and well, it's not even alleged. Everyone says, he took his team. Kyle says, but he had a team. It was the Umansky team, so he didn't steal agents. He just took his team.
It happens all the time. It happens. It just doesn't. It's just rarer because it's family, right? And it did create a divide clearly, and Paris even weighed in, and just Mo is such a moocher and using her good father's name, and there you have it. So it's going to be a good. I hope it's going to be a good season. I mean, Sutton is the best, so I'm ready for some Sutton.
But in what world are we living that RHOP is gearing up apparently to film? And I don't even know if that's happening right away. There's all these things. It's like, well, I mean, it's happening. But like, where is Beverly Hills? I mean, how is RHOP coming back before Atlanta? Like, what world are we living in?
No, and Atlanta still isn't resolved.
No,
I mean, we
not
have
even
a
close.
few people, right? But we don't even have. I could see RHOP coming back before Atlanta.
It's going to. Atlanta will have been off for like a year and a half by the time it comes back. It's going to be 2025. I mean, I just think like they know Portia's back. Kenya's in. I believe Drew is in. I mean, there's these rumors that Sheree is in. I also don't believe that. But I just think, I think it's New York City that is causing a lot of these problems with Atlanta, because I think the network has the PTSD of when they had two newbies, season 2, McSwiney. You guys call her Leah McSweeney. I call her McSwiney. Season 2, McSwiney, and season 1, my good friend, Ebony K. Williams, class act. I will not say anything bad about Ebony on this podcast because she is my friend. And I don't think she did anything wrong. I think y'all went cuckoo. But they had these two newbies, and then they had the older women, Ramona, and that didn't work. And I think they're sitting there and trying to, how are Portia and Kenya going to assimilate with 33-year-old influencers in Atlanta? I mean, you think?
Yes, they're like on that vibe. You think
like, without like overshadowing them, like it's an ensemble show, everyone gets a say. Is that going to work?
Yes. Okay. Yes, I think 100%. I think the problem is, they've got to have that it factor. They have to have that Nene Kim dynamic, right? Which checks so many boxes. I mean, it was crazy. It was, Kim had that,